What's up everybody, Brandon Johnson here again, and thanks for joining me. Today we're taking a look at the classic old-time fiddle tune, Leather Britches. This is one of those tunes that you can play really fast. You know, it's one of those tunes that Doc used to play at super high tempos and he would just bring the house down with it. We're going to be playing this out of the key of G with no capo, and it's just a great tune to know. It's a really fun song to shred on. So I hope you enjoy this one, and let's check it out. Okay, let's take a look at measure number 1 now of Leather Britches. Now we're looking at a 2-note pickup measure here before the first measure. And that 2-note pickup is going to be an open D to 2nd fret D. And I like to play that with my index finger because it gets me into position to play this kind of slide up part here at the beginning of measure number 1. So we're going to land on that open G on a downstroke on the first note, the first beat of measure number 1. So that open G there is going to be an 8th note, so there's a slight pause. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to play this 4th fret G, 3rd fret D, little 2-note chord. And we're just going to strum that on a downstroke. So you'll notice there's 2 downstrokes in a row right there. There's that downstroke on that open G, and then there's the downstroke there on that little 2-note chord. And from here, we're just going to take that little 2-note chord, and we're going to lift it off. And we're going to play an upstroke on the open B. And that's played fairly staccato, or fairly quickly. And then after that open B, we're going to take that exact same 2-note chord shape, and we're going to move it down to the 2nd fret G and the 1st fret B. So just like before, we're going to have that open B right after that 2-note chord. So we're kind of playing these open Bs in between these little 2-note chords as kind of like ghost notes. And what you're left with is a sound that's kind of like this. So every time you have one of those 2-note chords, it's a downstroke. And then that open B in between is going to be an upstroke. Okay, and then right after that open B on an upstroke, we're going to have a downstroke on the open G, followed by a slide from the 2nd fret G to the 4th fret G, and then again an upstroke on the open B. Okay, and then right after we play that open B there, after the slide up, we're just going to play a 2nd fret G to open, and then a 2nd fret D to open. And that's kind of the conclusion of measure number 1. Okay, and that's going to lead us into measure number 2. Okay, so when we look at measure number 2 now, we're going to start on a downstroke on the open G, and that's going to be on an 8th note again. And if you'll notice here, the first half of measure number 2 is exactly the same as the first half of measure number 1. So we're going to start on that open G, And then we're going to go to that 4th fret G, 3rd fret B, little 2-note chord there that we learned in measure number 1, with our open Bs in between. And then here you'll see we go to a D chord, and we're going to play a little descending run that's going to start on the 3rd fret D to 2nd fret D to open. And then you'll see 3rd fret A to 2nd fret A to 3rd fret E. So we're kind of, you can see how we're kind of descending into this G chord here. And I'll actually play this G chord shape here instead of, you know, just playing the individual notes, because it keeps me a little bit more grounded. Okay, we land on that 3rd fret low E, and then we're going to jump way up to this open G here, and then an upstroke on the open D. So this is a little bit of cross picking going on here. We're going to cross over the A and the D string, and we're going to land on that open G. So you're making use of a couple open strings there at the end. All right, now let's play measures 1 and 2 all the way through to the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that leads us into measure number 3. All right, so as you can tell here, measure number 3 is identical to measure number 1, so that makes our life easy. Okay, so just to review, okay, so you're going to start on that 8th note on a downstroke on that open G. And then you're going to have those 2-note chords with that B string in between, followed by the open G, slide up, and then 2nd fret G to open G, and then 2nd fret D to open D. Okay, and that's going to lead us into measure number 4. Okay, measure number 4 now is unique, so this is not a repeated measure. And we're going to start here with a little descending run, and we're going to start on the 1st fret B with a pull-off. So the pull-off is going to be 1st fret B to open. And I usually like to play that on a downstroke with my index finger. And then from there, we're going to land on the 2nd fret G to open. Of course, that's not a pull-off, so we have a pull-off, and then 2nd fret G on a downstroke, and then open G on an upstroke. That's kind of the beginning of this little descending run we're going to do here. Okay, and then right after that open G there, we're going to kind of have to do a little bit of shifting. We're going to shift up 1 fret, and we're going to land with our ring finger on the 4th fret D to open. Okay, so that little 6-note sequence there is going to sound like this. You can hear that's really cool. It's kind of like arpeggiated, you know, it's kind of like a repeating sequence. And then right after that open D, we're going to go to 2nd fret D to 4th fret D. Okay, and that's the first half of measure number 4. Now continuing on here, we're going to have an open D to 4th fret D. So So we're kind of skipping some notes here, which gives it a really cool effect. Right after that 4th fret D on an upstroke, we're going to go back to the open G, to 2nd fret G, to 4th fret G. And then to finish it out, we have our open G there, kind of just hanging out on its own at the end of the measure. So that 4th fret G is going to be an 8th note. There's a slight pause there. You can see that in the tab. Hear how I kind of paused on that 4th fret G right there, because that's an 8th note. All right, now let's play measures 3 and 4 all the way through to the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four, 2, 2, 3, 4. All right, now let's play the A part all the way through to the metronome. We'll play it slowly first, and then we'll increase the tempo a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that leads us into part B.